Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining me today because we are going to unpack a story that has absolutely turned the financial world on its head. Honestly, if you thought you already knew the whole story of Dogecoin, you might want to sit down. Today, we're looking at the completely unexpected 2026 evolution of Doge. We are moving way past the internet forums and directly into the architecture of modern digital finance. It's going to be a wild ride. I want you to really think about this central mystery for a second. How exactly did a cryptocurrency featuring a picture of a Shiba Inu, something that was literally created as a joke to make fun of crypto speculation, transform into a massive, globally scaled asset? The irony of Dogecoin's origins versus its current massive scale is it's one of the most fascinating narratives in modern economics. We're looking at a journey from a literal punchline to a financial powerhouse. And you know what? We have the data to prove it. All right, let's dive right into section 1, from joke to juggernaut. To truly understand what's happening in 2026, you just have to look at the absolute absurdity of this comparison. Back in 2013, software engineers Billy Marcus and Jackson Palmer launched this coin to mock the wild, grandiose plans of other cryptocurrencies. It was 100% a joke. Fast forward to 2026, and federal regulators, specifically the SEC and the CFTC, have officially classified it as a digital commodity. That means it now shares the exact same regulatory playing field as heavyweights like Bitcoin and Ethereum. No joke. And this regulatory shift? It definitely isn't happening in a vacuum. To put this into perspective, we are looking at a $20.4 billion market cap. That massive number solidifies Dogecoin as a top 10 global cryptocurrency. So this isn't just internet funny money anymore. It proves without a shadow of a doubt that the market treats this as a highly serious asset, one that's maintaining its strength even when the broader economy is facing some serious headwinds. Let's map out how we got here, because you can trace this buildup so clearly. Starting with that satirical launch in 2013, it eventually rode the massive retail meme boom of 2021, totally fueled by social media. But the real fundamental shift is happening right now. March 2026 brought that absolutely crucial SEC commodity status, which was then immediately followed by the highly anticipated X Money beta rollout in April. We are rapidly shifting from speculative hype to real integrated utility.
Okay, moving on to section 2, decoding the 2026 squeeze.
2.9 petahashes per second. I know, it sounds like sci-fi jargon, right? But that is Dogecoin's network hash rate hitting an all-time high. So why does this matter to us? Well, hash rate basically measures all the computational power dedicated to keeping the blockchain secure. Hitting this record-breaking figure means the network has achieved a level of security it's never seen before. It's a fundamental benchmark of the network's health, and right now, it is stronger than it has ever been.
But behind the scenes of the day-to-day price action, the derivative market is heating up massively. Look at this contrast. We have a very healthy $992 million in regular spot trading volume, right? But the futures volume is completely towering over it at $7 billion. That is a staggering difference. It creates a highly volatile setup where leveraged bets are really driving the momentum. And here is the direct result of all that leverage boiling over. Nearly $30 million in short positions were liquidated in just 24 hours. Basically, here's how a short squeeze works. When traders bet against the price, which is called going short, and the price actually goes up instead, they are forced to buy back in to cover their losses. All those forced closures act as absolute rocket fuel, and that's exactly what pushed the price so rapidly past that heavy resistance barrier at 10 cents. Which brings us neatly to section 3, whales and Wall Street.
So you've got to ask, who is actually driving all this demand? Spoiler alert, it's no longer just retail investors on Reddit. $11.6 billion. That represents the total holdings of just 149 whale wallets. On-chain data is showing us a massive wave of accumulation by these large holders, hitting a 6-month high. Listen, when wallets holding over 100 million Doge start accumulating aggressively while the price is just moving sideways, it usually signals that supply is being eaten up and a really strong price floor is forming. The big players are absolutely positioning themselves. And speaking of big players, the biggest ones of all now have a direct front door. The 21 shares Dogecoin ETF under the ticker symbol TDOG has officially debuted on the NASDAQ. This is a huge deal. This physically backed exchange-traded fund fundamentally changes Dogecoin's liquidity. Institutional capital, meaning the really big money, can now flow directly into the asset without the friction or the regulatory headaches of actually managing a crypto wallet. Wall Street has officially crashed the Dogecoin party. Let's shift gears to Section 4, Regulation and Real Utility.
So you might be wondering, is this just another flash-in-the-pan meme pump? And the answer really lies in its brand new fundamental status. That March 2026 classification by the SEC and CFTC as a digital commodity is monumental. I literally cannot stress enough why this matters. For years, mid-cap tokens have been dragged down by the fear of being labeled an unregistered security. That label limits exchange listings, and it absolutely terrifies institutional investors. Well, this new classification completely removes that risk for Dogecoin. It officially paves a clear, regulated runway for Wall Street adoption.
And then, of course, we have the Elon Musk factor. But we're evolving from just random tweets to actual tangible infrastructure. The X Money beta has launched on the X platform, which, by the way, boasts roughly 600 million users. Dogecoin is perfectly positioned to be the native clearing layer here. Because it has a super fast 1-minute block time and a low-cost algorithm, it is absolutely ideal for microtransactions, near-instant creator rewards, global cross-border payments, and yeah, even integration into the space economy, like paying for Starlink subscriptions.
Now, while all that's happening, the Dogecoin Foundation is working overtime behind the scenes to build out the necessary infrastructure. Step 1 is the release of the Such app GigaWallet in the first half of 2026. This is huge because it allows small businesses to seamlessly accept Doge directly, no middleman required. Step 2, Doge OS securing funding to deploy a smart contract infrastructure layer by the third quarter. They aren't just sitting around, they're actively anchoring the token's value to everyday real-world commerce. They're turning it from a speculative bet into a functional medium of exchange.
So let's wrap this up with Section 5, what's next for Doge?
With all these massive technical and fundamental catalysts in play, where do we go from here? Well, first, let's squash a huge misconception you hear all the time. Doesn't Dogecoin have an unlimited supply? Okay, true, it doesn't have a hard cap like Bitcoin, but it has what's called a disinflationary effect. See, there's a fixed issuance of exactly 5 billion new Doge entering circulation every single year. Because that 5 billion is a static, unchanging number, as the total overall supply of the coin grows year after year, the actual percentage rate of inflation consistently drops. It's a predictable, shrinking inflation model perfectly designed for a currency you're actually meant to spend, not just lock away in a vault. And when you combine all of this, the X Money rollout, the massive ETF inflows, the mainstream adoption, market analysts are putting out some pretty ambitious targets. For mid-2026, they project a range of 20 to 47 cents. Looking a bit further down the road to the 2027-2028 cycle, projections are hitting 74 cents to $1.30. And the 2030 vision? Assuming full everything app integration and massive retail adoption, we're seeing targets stretching anywhere from $3.22 all the way up to $5.
There is this one quote from our source materials that just absolutely hits the nail on the head. Dogecoin represents a unique hybrid, the viral energy of a meme coin with the regulatory status of a major commodity. And really, that is the core takeaway for us today. It is no longer just a transient trend or a funny internet joke. With NASDAQ-listed ETFs and massive real-world utility integrations, Dogecoin is building a foundation to be the digital currency for the people for the next decade. Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We've seen the network hash rate peak, we've seen the commodities classification secure its legal standing, and we've watched institutional money flood in. As Wall Street and these massive tech giants fully embrace the meme, you really have to wonder, is the joke finally on the doubters? It is an incredible irony that the heavy-hitting financial world is increasingly relying on a cartoon Shiba Inu. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep your eyes on the data.